What is up, Retromaniacs? Welcome to Short Prints, our short videos about random topics. And today we're going to talk about something near and dear to all of our hearts, the junk wax eras. We're going to talk about our favorite card brands from junk wax era. EP, get us started.
Well, I recently bought a box of junk wax from our sports editor at the paper, and that thing was filled with 1990 Donruss rack packs. And I lost a bunch of my 1990 Donruss. I bought a bunch of it back in 1990, but little old kid EP. I had $20 that I don't know how I got it. I don't know if I did work for somebody, but I got my $20 and I was like, I'm going to buy a box of 1990 Donruss baseball. And it was like $18, and it was my proudest moment. I was like, oh my gosh, 1990 Donruss. And looking back, the cards aren't worth anything, but this is the first time I ever got to experience rated rookie cards and the Donruss brand, Diamond Kings. And
Diamond Kings,
just,
I even know Diamond Kings.
Yeah, and just looking back, like, man, like that's it was such a moment for me, and it was kind of like the moment where like my cards took off. So Donruss, especially that 1990 Donruss, has like a special place in my heart.
Yeah, 92 Donruss Diamond Kings. I remember,
yes,
like they were so hot back when baseball was so hot back at that time too. And can't forget about the elite cards too.
Oh yes,
Donruss elite cards. They were
so tough to pull.
I believe the first serial numbered insert card. So,
I think so.
Was that the springboard for the brand for the Donruss Elite set?
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah,
never pulled one. Mike, do you ever pull one at the shop?
I pulled out of hockey because I opened a way more than anybody rightfully should have 93, 94 Donruss hockey. So I did pull a Felix Potvin out of that, but I don't think I did out of like the baseball. They were tough.
So tough to pull.
So
ridiculous.
Tough to get. Yeah. Great set. I love that. All right. Joe.
First off, I'm trying to envision EP as little. But I do
looks exactly the same,
right?
But he was like
just a little shorter.
Years old.
So my first set, 1993, 1994 Pinnacle football. I won't talk a lot about this because I know we've talked about this before, but Halloween night opening up Pinnacle was always a fun time. Trophy collections, the artist proof for whatever those were called at the time. What was the special way they did the cards, Mike? Dufex, right?
Dufex. Yeah.
Dufex, the trophy collections. And then you had the Pinnacle Performers, Team Pinnacle,
Team Pinnacle.
All sorts of just Team Pinnacle was a fun one.
Yep.
And that set, and I couldn't remember it for the pod when I talked about this set the last time, but the Eagles quarterback, I found it later. I texted you boys. The Eagles quarterback, for some reason, I collected all three, the rainbow, if you will. David Barr. What? Who?
From Cal, right? I think he went to
from Cal. Yeah. Cal Berkeley, go Bears.
I don't know why I remember that, but I do remember.
Well, you're a huge Eagles fan, so obviously,
I don't remember
Dave back then. But yeah, that was for me. I mean, I didn't collect as much junk wax sports as you guys did, or didn't open as much. But that one, as soon as we started talking junk wax, Pinnacle was at the top of my list.
I love Pinnacle. Again, might have opened some Pinnacle hockey in my time. 91, 92 Pinnacle hockey, 92, 93, way more than any human being should ever have opened. I know I have multiple 5,000 count boxes of those cards. But
maybe Team Pinnacle is something I might try and put a set from one of the years together. That was a really cool insert set.
They were great too.
Because the front you could really they did them in the Dufex, and then I think the back was normal, or maybe there were some that they both did it. I just overall
maybe in later years. Yeah, I know initially they weren't. They were just a flat card, but so cool. So cool.
I want to just interject quick that I know when Joe posted about that Dave Barr and displaying it, I feel like back in that era when you couldn't, like, there was no internet, there was no eBay. So if you're able to complete a set like that, like, you definitely would want to display that.
Yeah.
That's saying something to get all three of those together. Like that's crazy. 93,
especially
94.
David Barr,
baby. I didn't go to Cal either. I don't know why. crap about
no.
David Barber.
We collected a lot of football. A lot
We
of
did.
football. And speaking of football, let's go with my number one set here. We're going to talk about Action Packed. They were, of course,
cool.
known for football. They were produced from 1990 through 1997. They did a couple other, I think they did a baseball set here and there. They did a couple years of NASCAR. I think they might have done a hockey set or two.
I remember NASCAR, yeah.
But mainly known for the football. And boy, chasing the 24 karat gold cards out of those. Wow, how much fun was that? Like,
yeah,
they were the thing back in the day.
They also did wrestling, I believe. Mike.
They did do some wrestling. Yes, I was going to get to that as well. My favorite wrestling set of all time is the 1994 Action Packed wrestling set. So, yeah, they did a test run in '89. So they have some cards they printed then, but the first full set was 90. But boy, that like it's a process you don't see today. The embossed cards, like they're kind of a thing of the past, like the Pinnacle Trophy collection and stuff, like really cool card that you just don't see now. And I was a big fan of Action Packed. I looked up their history because I wondered how Panini got their license, and Action Packed went out of business where they were bought out by Pinnacle in 95, and then Playoff bought Pinnacle in 98, and then Panini, of course, bought the rights to Playoff. So that's how Panini has Action Packed. They use them. They have them as an insert, I think, in Leaf Panini Rookies and Stars. I have a hard time not calling it Leaf, but in Rookies and Stars. But they have the Action Packed, like the actual logo on it, but it's not an Action Packed card. So,
it's not embossed.
No, not at all.
Oh, wow.
I don't.
That's
Again, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I don't know if the process, if there's no company out there that can do that now or what, but that would be something I think would be really cool if it was brought back.
Right.
Yeah.
All righty, P.
My number two, you could go listen. I could talk for ages about 1990 card collecting. But 1990 tops, just tops in general, I collect a lot of tops, but Junk Wax tops is great. But that 1990 set, there's something, I realize it's a lot of people that are purists aren't going to like it because it doesn't have the white border, whatever. It's definitely top 5 card designs for me of all time. The iconic Griffey Jr. Gold Cup card. I remember like the Nolan Ryan, like there's a ton of cards in there. Frank Thomas, no name. To me, the 1990 tops just it screams baseball cards again to me. The 14-year-old little kid me just collecting cards, whenever. 1990 tops is awesome. I'm definitely going to buy at some point a box and open it for the channel.
See, I'm a little partial to 92 because I love the
92's
gold cards. The gold cards, when they came out, again, people don't understand how popular some of the stuff from that era really was. But wow, that was, parallel. I don't know if that was the first parallel, but it was pretty close to it. And, just like crazy that you had to go through all these packs to try to get that set together, and until they started putting out the winter cards, which kind of diluted them a little bit. But yeah, big fan of the 92 tops myself.
So was 1990 the first year that they went away from just the straight up white border and they did the colored borders?
No, they had it other years, but I mean, it has like kind of a futuristic design with some of the designs. It looks like a little more futuristic than some of the Topps classic kind of designs. So like some of the purists might not like it as much, but I know for me, it's a time and era and a moment in my collecting where I'm like, it is, as much as I love some of the older stuff, 53 and 56, like the 90, just something about it always screams to me like this is collecting cards. This is your childhood, your nostalgia factor off the charts.
It's like the you always love the James Bond you grew up with kind of thing. I think that's because you opened up Topps at that point. Right. I think that's probably why you think 1990 Topps is the best, because that's what you grew up with.
Yep.
All right, Joe.
So for me, I'm going. It's really on the fringe. It's 1993 playoff football, just straight up playoff.
Love it.
No,
love that set. Yeah.
But yeah, that set it kind of reminds me of the newer stuff now, because it had just basically the silhouette of the player, and everything else was kind of grayed out. You could still kind of see the stuff in the background, but it was kind of I don't know what the actual term is, but it was like just gray on the around the player. They were thicker cards. I remember, like
Yeah, they were very
they
thick.
weren't thin. You
Mhm.
couldn't fit them in a normal top loader. The Drew Bledsoe rookie, for some reason, has always stuck in my mind from that set because he was the top
Yeah.
rookie that year.
Mhm.
But I remember having that rookie card for years. And in the 94 set, I actually had gotten the Gale Sayers had a special insert card
Mhm.
from that set. And I remember very distinctly, I bought some packs. I was grocery shopping with my grandmother. I bought some packs, ripped them open in the car. And she thought, because she didn't know anything about cards, she thought I just got like a $10,000 card. And I'm like, no, Grandma, it's probably, I mean, at the time it was probably like a $2 card or whatever, because it was an insert. It was probably one per box or whatever the case might be. But they actually did have, and I've thought about buying it just kind of because I'm remembering the time. They have an autograph version of that card that you could find. I think it was probably one per couple cases. I should have looked that up. But yeah, it was very difficult to get. So that's one that I really just, that one, like UEP with 1990 Topps, that one just takes me back to collecting in my childhood, getting those packs at the grocery store and being just enamored with how thick they were too. I remember distinctly that was the thing I remember taking away.
Yeah, Playoff was great. They were a set I ordered direct from them back when I had my shop too, so I was a little partial toward them because I was able to buy them that way. But yeah, they were, and they had the hinged boxes. Do you remember those?
I do. Yeah.
So,
yeah, that was National Treasures kind of esque box where you could hear
it was totally different than everything else. So yeah, that was a great set. I loved it.
Yeah. Very cool.
Okay, my number 2 set, I'm going to go with, well, my number 2 brand was Classic, believe it or not. Interesting story with Classic. They had a Major League Baseball license from, I believe, 87 to 92. They used to make those little travel games and everything, but they had the card sets with them, and they were fairly popular for the time. They also, again, made WWF cards in 1990 and 91. Some really great sets in there and great cards out of those sets. The real interesting thing, was the whole affiliation with Scoreboard, which was their autograph and memorabilia side of the same business. And they, in the early 90s, they also came out with the draft pick sets. They had basketball. They started doing that with everything. Then they just said, what the hell, we'll throw them all together. They did four sport, and then they did even 5 sport. I think they added racing to it. So that was really unique. That 4 sport stuff to this day, like you don't find a lot of anything that has everything together. That was really unique for the time and even unique for now. But I believe they filed for bankruptcy finally in 1998. I think 97 was the last year they made any sets. They did have some basketball they did and some football, I believe, in the mid 90s, but they ran on hard times, had a lot of trouble with, they sold a lot of stuff on QVC and home shopping back then too. So,
really diluted the product.
Yeah, they did. And I don't think they had a lot of support of the hobby shops and stuff too, because they sold a lot of product that way that I know when I had the shop, like I didn't consider Classic on par with Topps and Fleer and Donruss for baseball. So, but looking back, they were really unique and they're kind of groundbreaking. Again, the 4 sport set is pretty cool. I have a box of that. I should open that up sometime.
That's awesome.
Soon. Yeah. It was really cool stuff. So
what year?
That's my number 2 set. 91, I believe mine is. Rocket Ishmael.
So. Yeah.
I was Rocket Ishmael, Larry Johnson, Shaq. I think Shaq was
the year later. Yeah.
But yeah, cool stuff.
I think I have in my PC. I know I have in my PC a Curtis Martin rookie card from Classic.
Oh yeah.
In his pit. I mean, that's why I bought it. He's in his pit uniform. But it's just that I remember that set because you saw it. You go to Kmart or Nichols. Remember Nichols?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You go to places like that and you would see Classic.
I know. I've talked about this a number of times. Going back through my stuff. since we got back into it, and a couple of times getting excited when I see a card, but when I see the 4 Sport Rocket Ishmael card, I was like, oh man, I forgot about this set, and just
I know
like just how crazy it was, like that and Larry Johnson, but I both
that
of those.
card was huge.
Yeah.
That was huge. And Scoreboard signed a lot of people to exclusive deals back then too. Like they were the forerunner of doing that, which like a lot of people don't really give them credit for that. Upper Deck's known for the whole thing with Michael Jordan and Ken Griffey Jr. eventually, a lot of those guys, but Classic was doing it before they were. So, they were the only set at the time that could make Rocket Ishmael. I remember, and that, as silly as it sounds, was really a big deal.
Oh yeah, huge deal.
All right, EP, your third set.
All right, it's Fleer Ultra. Like across all of my card collecting, I bet you I probably have more Fleer Ultra cards than any other card. As much as I bought of 1990 Downers, 1990 Tops back in the day, and as much as I've bought of cards in 1999, I bet you most of my 1999 cards are all Ultra. And I bought 98s and I bought 2000s and I got Ultra, Ultra. And I'm not complaining because I love Fleer Ultra. I always thought the art was like the photos were excellent. The inserts were always fun. In particular, like I go back to 91 Ultra was okay, but 92 Ultra was kind of the one that got everything started.
Yeah,
we've talked at length about how the smell of the packs was amazing. Good. Smell of the cards smelled so good, but they just felt like a premium card. There's like full bleed photos and some cool designs and stuff. And I always loved Fleer Ultra so much.
Sadly, the reason they smelled so good and the reason that they were so nice and shiny is the reason that all of mine bricked. From the 90s. It's just like pulling out one, and I try and peel them off nice and smooth, and then the one will look good, and then nope, there's paper loss all over these packs of these. It's a real bummer.
Yeah, 92 Ultra. I mean, if people weren't collecting at the time, they don't understand how big that was and how popular. Like I sold so much of that, and I believe the price like shot up to like $5 a pack back then, which was a lot of money back then for a pack of cards. And people were still buying them like crazy. It was so cool. And it was different. It really took the hobby up another level. That was like a big step from the regular cards up to those. So yeah, Fleer Ultra, still great. Hopefully it'll come back someday. Who knows? But yeah, love that.
Well, I do have some Fleer Ultra Avengers pre-ordered, so I'm excited for that.
We are all excited for that.
We'll do a little rip roast for that one.
Yeah. All right, Joe. Your third
all right,
set.
my last one, I'm kind of gonna do an EP and cheat a little bit, and instead of just naming one specific set, I'm going to name one brand that to me is synonymous with junk wax, especially in the non-sports space, and that is Impel from the early 90s. If there was a TV show, a comic book, a movie, anything, Impel made a 36-pack box of cards, and they probably put holograms that were super off-centered and scratched up, and you could probably count down where the hologram was. I mean, it was just anything and everything. And for me, I've talked a lot about 90 MU, 91 MU. 92 DC Cosmic cards, 93 the Series 2 for DC, the Star Trek cards that I pulled. I mean, they were made cheaply. The artwork wasn't, I mean, it's fine, but it's more nostalgia than anything. They were just pictures from, like, the Star Trek cards were just pictures from the show. Like, it's like someone paused the TV, took a picture and put it on a card. That's fine. They did that for all the movie cards that they put out at the time. That was pretty much it. And there weren't like massive inserts and things like that. It was just, maybe 2 holograms per box, maybe, some of them. G.I. Joe, we talked about this before, the G.I. Joe cards, they didn't have any inserts. It was just the G.I. Joe cards. So anything from that late 80s, early 90s that Impel made, I probably bought boxes of it for, for a kid who got, a couple of bucks of allowance. I probably bought that much in boxes, that many packs as I could.
great stuff.
Mhm.
Definitely love the old Impel. I mean, like you said, pretty much anything and everything non-sports at the
Oh yeah,
time
they
was
were all
Impel.
over it. They were all
And,
over
and they
it.
were all so similar looking too.
Oh
Really
yeah,
look at that.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
at the time, though, those holographs, like they were a huge holograms. They were
Yeah.
huge
They were
chase cards,
huge.
weren't they? Like everybody wanted to
Mhm.
get those.
Yeah, because they were so. I mean, you thought they were tough to get because you didn't back in those days, and you guys can attest to this. You didn't go in and buy boxes. That wasn't a thing that most people did.
Yeah.
So you would go in and you would buy a few packs, and the odds of getting a hologram in a few packs were not likely.
Mhm.
So, but if you open up a box, you could probably get 3 or 4 holograms. But you just didn't do that. That's not how I collected anyway. I
Yeah.
couldn't afford it as a
Mhm.
10 or 12-year-old.
People collected sets, especially of that type stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Put them in your 9 sleeve pages.
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
exactly how you would display them.
Okay, my final set, I'm going to go with Collector's Edge.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Started in 1992 with their flexible plastic card that
Mhm.
you couldn't ding up. Also, the first fully serial numbered base set that was put out, they 1992, which numbered cards are a big deal nowadays. Of course, they had 100,000 of each of the cards, but at the time that seemed like it wasn't too bad of a deal. But yeah, that especially that first set, the black bordered set, with
Mhm.
that you could bend, was just so cool. They ended up going till the year 2000, after they printed all your Tom Brady rookie cards, Joe. They went out of business, but
I
I
do
don't
have
know.
one. I do have a Collector's Edge, Brady. Don't worry.
and sadly, I guess after they went out of business, there was a bankruptcy sale, and like a lot of stuff came out, like was sold in the sale that shouldn't have been sold. I guess there are like parallel cards and like insert cards that don't have the serial numbers on the back that
Oh, wow.
that would have, that were things that would have been numbered to like 25 and 50. So
Oh wow.
it really kind of hurt like the secondary market, like similar to what happened with Fleer when they went out of business. Like just everything and anything they had laying around ended up being sold. So one thing though, in doing my research, I had forgotten about these. Do you remember the 2000 Edge Masters leatherbacks?
No.
I don't.
They were a card that had a card on the front, and the whole back of it was made out of a football.
Oh, wow.
And they also had
Wow.
jersey backs. The whole back of the card were made out of a jersey. But yeah, like
That's wild.
like
Yeah.
wild. Like the whole size of the card is football on the back of the card, and like amazing. I don't think, like, we definitely never saw anything like that
No.
before it, and I
No.
don't think there's anything since that have come out. So yeah, I might actually look into those to see how much
Yeah.
they are. I didn't
Yeah.
get a chance to, but wow, like they were big in the numbered card thing. That was their big deal through everything. They got a little, a lot of their sets really didn't stand out from the others. Like if I looked at some of those late 90s football sets, you showed me a picture of 4 of them and you tried to pick the name to go with
I
the
know.
card.
Because I've been
hard to
sorting
do.
them. I've been sorting them for the last couple of weeks. And is it Fury? Is it first place? Is it, there were like 4 or 5 that all looked the same. And I think used the same picture. They just had a different border.
Yeah. So disappointing end to that. Like I know they sell those like repacks now that are Collector's Edge. I don't
they're
know
not.
that
I
there's
looked
any
into-
affiliation.
No,
Okay.
it's a different company. I did look into that when I was doing one of my Brady videos, because I was talking about the Collector's Edge ones, and I did look into to see if it was the same company or not, and it's not.
Yeah, I was trying to find if like who held the intellectual property, but I didn't find anything on that, and obviously none of the current manufacturers have it because they don't make them. So I don't know. I guess that one just got flushed down the toilet and is forever gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were very innovative. So that was my number one set. But great trip down memory lane. Gotta love our junk wax. EP especially down there.
Yes, for sure. Just
He's gonna
on
buy
that
more at the National.
Yeah.
on that collector's edge, like I didn't buy much of the very first set, but the blue set, the second year, 93, I have so much of that, and I love that set. It's just, and again, it had the really bendy, like the plastic cards that you couldn't really ding up, and they were serial numbered. Like, it's very cool.
Were they? So I was going to ask, were they serial numbered, like card number 3825 out of 100,000, or were they serial numbered one of?
No, I think they had actual number.
They had
the
individual.
number.
They didn't have like the slash out of 10,000, but they were numbered. Like you'd get a card that was like 5,840 on the back. So
okay. Very cool.
Pretty cool. All right, guys. Good chat. We'll be back next week. Take care, guys.
See ya, boys.
See ya.